Hello everyone and welcome back to SGTV. We have a very famous face with us from the electrical industry. We've got Karen Boom on the show. Karen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
A lot of people out there who follow you on social media, they're very aware of you, you're becoming very well known in the industry. So how is it you got to where you are now from the beginning, say, from leaving school?
When I left school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a few different careers. I've been involved in hotel and catering, been involved in IT, training, and then I sort of gave up my career to have my children. Then I had a bit of a midlife crisis when I was 40. It came on my radar that being an electrician was something that was, would give somebody flexibility to be self-employed, earn your own money, be in control of your own destiny.
Had you had any experience in the industry at that point?
None at all.
No.
In fact, I didn't really pay attention at school to physics or anything like that. I had absolutely no idea what a volt or an amp or an ohm was. So I had to really just go back to basics and learn it all from the complete beginning, which was a bit daunting. But I am a bit of a control freak in terms of having to understand things.
Want to get a full grasp of something before you sort of move on with it?
Yeah, so it was a real challenge, but I absolutely loved it. So I did a course, and then I got lots of bits of paper that said you've got all these qualifications, and then I went, oh, now how am I going to get out there and get some experience? Because it became very apparent to me that without the right experience, I wasn't going to go very far. Because when you're in the classroom, everything works because you've wired it. The real skill will come when you go out to a customer's home and something's not working, and then you're into fault finding, and that's where, and that's where understanding of how to test. It's a bit like being a detective, which I really like as well. So I set about getting some experience, found some people to work with, someone to mentor me, which I was incredibly lucky. But I knew that without that, I didn't feel, that I could call myself a fully qualified electrician and be let loose in people's homes. So and fast forward 9 years, and here I am. I really do love my job. I feel passionately about the fact that as an industry, we need to bring more people on board, whether they be school leavers, more mature people. I just think that being an electrician is a great career. It encompasses so many different areas of life. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to do it?
What's the best bit you found, apart from, flexibility was your initial reason for going into the industry?
Flexibility is key because, it is nice to be able to think that you can have a day off or schedule a day off in. Being self-employed is hard because the buck stops with you. So you might have scheduled that day off, you might get an emergency come up and you have to respond to that, whatever that response might be. Being in control of, to a certain extent, earning your own money, that's nice.
It can be nice, but at the same time, compared to a job where you're salaried and you don't necessarily know what's coming in every single month, I suppose that could be quite a daunting experience.
It is daunting. However, I personally don't think, if I was looking at my diary and looking ahead 3 or 4 weeks and thinking, oh, there's nothing in there, I know for a fact that I could walk up and down my local high street, pop into some of the shops and come away with some LED lighting upgrades. I'm fairly confident that I could do that just by outlining what the benefits are of upgrading. When I talk to people, I have to remember that everybody I meet is my potential next customer because everybody needs an electrician. So it is a lot about marketing yourself. It's all about, personally, I think, how you come across to people, being able to communicate with them on their level about things that are important, and weaving into that things like electrical safety, new regulations, new legislation for homeowners. I always say to people, is this your forever home? Then I recommend you do A. Are you going to be looking to sell this within the next 2 years? Then I recommend you do B, because the two scenarios might not be the right thing to do depending on what they want. And this is where, you know, keeping up with regulations is key, keeping up with product knowledge is key, keeping up with changes to, you know, what's going on in the world in general is just key. Things like electric car charging, for example, that's a whole nother chapter.
You mentioned that you took a course to get yourself qualified. What sort of course was that?
Well, it's a course that enables you to go out and do domestic work. You will get a qualification in, obviously, the regs. So you'll come out with, for me, I did the 17th edition, now it's the 18th. You'll get a qualification in inspecting and testing if you choose to do that, which I did, that was an add-on. You'll get a qualification in that allows you to be a Part P installer, which will enable you to...
Your basic one, isn't it?
Well, it enables you to notify work. If you don't have a Part P qualification, you can still go and do work, but anything that needs to be notified, you have to pay extra for that. Part P means that you have to be registered with a TPS scheme, like NIC or Alexa or NAPIT. Then there's also a practical element of that course. There's things like health and safety. So my course was 7 weeks in total, but I didn't do it in a 7-week block because I couldn't extricate myself from my life for 7 weeks. So I did 3 weeks and then another 2 weeks and then 2 weeks, sort of like 7 months apart.
Was that through like a college local?
It was through a training provider who are based in Birmingham, actually, they don't exist anymore. Having the gap in between the modules allowed me to go away and make sure that I could process, because there's quite a lot of information to take on board, especially if you don't really understand about electricity, which I didn't. So it gave me time to go back and process the knowledge that I'd learned and have a little play, you know, in my own home and firm up my level of understanding.
Was it expensive, this kind of course, in general, for people looking to get into that?
It is expensive. I think from memory, I think it was about £10,000. That included a tester, though I came away with a tester, and a basic toolkit. But there was no power tools in that, it was just hand tools. But I am going back 9 years. I think the training industry has moved on a bit from that, so I don't know what the current prices are. But the way I looked at it was an investment, in the same way that if you go to university and get a degree, you're investing, I don't know, £30,000, £40,000 into your education. For me, it was an investment because I knew that I wanted to set up my own business. So I managed to pay that loan back, obviously, in the first year, and then buy better tools and also continue my education, because since then I've done other courses. I've had to retake the regs, done electric vehicle charging course, I've done several other accredited courses.
So where are you now in terms of the business you have? What sort of level and work do you do?
Well, I was quite pleased because last year I had a trainee, so that was really good. She again was a more mature lady who had completed her level 1 and 2 at college, doing evening classes, and she wanted to basically do what I did, break out into the industry, start her own business. So she was with me for a year. That was really good. It was nice to have somebody to pass knowledge and skills on to. It was also quite good for me because it reaffirmed that I actually do know quite a lot of stuff that I didn't think I did, because I had to regurgitate it for her. Also, she asked lots of questions that I sometimes had to really go away and find out the answers. So that was good. She's now successfully passed her level 3 and her 18th edition. So she is off on her own working, which is really good. I've also been mentoring sort of in the background several other people, mostly ladies, who again just want to get out there and be an electrician later in life. Because I do think that is an area, I mean, obviously apprenticeships in general lack support, in my opinion, but at least there is some. Whereas for more mature people, whether they be men or women, who want to break into the industry, there's really, really not a lot out there other than forums and things that are on social media.
And the work that you do, is it mainly domestic?
It's mainly domestic. In fact, it's 99.9% domestic. I mean, commercial's not really my bag. I'm only 5 foot tall, and a lot of commercial stuff involves climbing quite high, which it's not really my strength. My strengths really are people skills, chatting to homeowners about things that they want to do in their homes, chatting to little old ladies about making sure that they feel safe, because technology is quite scary for older people because it's moving on at such a pace, and there are a lot of people out there that really feel intimidated and threatened by things that are happening within the electric industry. So like smart meters, for example, you know, people say, well, why do I have to have a smart meter, you know, and does it mean that you're going to cut my power off, and am I going to have to pay more? And, you know, there's a lot of information out there that people don't really understand.
Having developed those personal skills over years, but also in other careers, that's all going to help.
It does definitely help. You know, I do honestly believe that a lot of the roles, whether they be paid or voluntary, that I've done in the past have sort of led me to this place that I'm at now. And so, yeah, I draw on many different skills every day to enable me to do my job.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about this kind of work is no 2 days are the same, and also no 2 houses are the same, and no 2 homeowners are the same, and you never know when you get that call, whether it's to do a quote or to fit a light or, you know, whatever it might be. You never know how that interaction's going to pan out, because you are going into somebody's house, and people can be quite defensive. You know, they like to feel secure in their own home, and you never know what skills you're going to need to draw on.
Karen, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I'm sure for people out there watching, advice from someone like you is priceless, and it's what we want to achieve on this show. We want people like you helping anyone out there thinking about getting in the industry. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. Where can people out there find you on social media? Because you've got quite an active presence on social media.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got a website. You can look me up on that. Twitter is where I do most of my social media presence. Being on social media is quite time consuming, so I'm limiting it to that at the moment.
Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.